So, guys, fight commentary breakdowns here. Sensei Ando, man. First of all, Sensei Ando, how did you come up with Ando instead of like Sensei Andy or Sensei Andrew? What was the Ando part? Where did it come from?
Oh, nice to talk to you, Jerry. Well, actually, I didn't come up with that at all. My dad used to shorten that up for me. He would call me Ando Banana Head. My name's Andrew, but that was just sort of like a little fun name, and it kind of stuck. So I've always liked it, Ando, because Andy sounds a little too young, and Andrew sounds a little too serious. Drew sounds a little too bit. Come on, but
Yeah.
Ando kind of sounded in the middle, strong but friendly. So I kind of like.
Hey, Ando here from SenseiAndo.com and Happy Life Martial Arts. Ando again from SenseiAndo.com. Ando here from Happy Life Martial Arts.
So, Happy Life Martial Arts. How long have you had this?
Well, I started the website, yikes, about 7.5 years ago. I can't remember. But eventually that was the podcast name, Fight for a Happy Life, Happy Life. And because that's, to me, that's the whole point. I mean, why does anybody get into martial arts or why do they do anything? That's the end goal. So I like to keep that in mind. It's not just about, oh, I want to learn how to punch faster. Well, why do you want to punch faster? Do you want to feel tough? Do you want to feel strong? Do you want to protect your family? Do you want to protect yourself? Do you want to fight for good causes? Something in there's a motivation that must make your life better, therefore making you happier. So I think the pursuit of happiness, as written in the Declaration, is important. So martial arts is a tool to fight for happiness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't buy
And
that. You don't like that answer at all.
oh, I do. I do. I mean, martial arts is one of the few things that does give me like happiness. I was like so lost in high school and college because I didn't really do much martial arts. And then after college that summer, I was like, there's something missing and it's martial arts. I realized that. And ever since I started doing martial arts again, it really helped me. So happiness, fulfillment, sense of purpose, slash like just getting out some anger. It all martial arts
Okay.
does that.
Okay. Good for
Yeah,
you. Well,
yeah,
glad you found it.
exactly.
Otherwise, you'd be
So
in jail.
exactly. Otherwise, I'd be in jail or maybe other morbid stuff. You don't know.
Interesting. Let's go down that path. What other morbid stuff? What are
I
you
mean,
into?
I think I sometimes would get depressed in high school and stuff like that. So I think martial arts does get that out of you. You stop self pitying when you have to worry about getting punched in the stomach and stuff like that. Like it switches something in your mind. It's like, okay, let's not focus on my own first world problems. Not to say they're not important, but there's other things we have to see in perspective.
Yeah, I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think it teaches you self-reliance.
Yeah.
And once you take your responsibility for your own happiness, you stop playing the victim or blaming other people, especially in those younger years when you're being raised and you're not really in control of where you live or who you live with. It can really feel like, oh, poor me.
Yeah.
But martial arts puts you in a position where you're forced to make a choice. Okay, you're going to get punched.
Yeah.
Are you going to lie down and just say, oh, everybody beats me up and I can't do anything about it? Or do you stand up and go, I don't want that to happen again. So what do I have to do? It's up to
Yeah.
me now to figure it out. No one's going to do it for me.
Yeah.
You can have teachers and great fellow students, but it's up to me now. Am I going to put my hands up? Am I going to punch back? At some point, it forces you to be self-reliant. And I think life just gets a lot happier when you stop blaming other people or expecting other people for things and you do it yourself.
Yeah.
Whether you win or lose, at least it's on your time and on
Yeah.
your under your power.
When you get hit, focus before you quit. Let's say you take a kick right to the face. Boom! Ah, hold it, hold it. Let's say someone jams their fingers right into your eye. Ah, stop, stop. You see the problem there? Look, life will not stop for you. Time will not stop for you. Bad guys will not stop for you. When you get rocked, you've got to do something to get your focus back.
I think the other thing that martial arts really does for people is that as your body gets stronger, it really helps you, man. And just even from a physiological perspective, like your
Sure.
body gets stronger, it's producing better chemicals, right? And you
Sure.
just feel like happier.
Yeah, the martial arts is the best drug dealer of them all.
It is. It really is the best drug. I mean, that's why you hear like runners who just have to go run, or jujitsu people who have to do jujitsu. Everyone has to do the stuff once in a while.
Absolutely. Get your endorphin rush. Get
Yeah.
your get your boost.
Yeah, exactly. So, Sensei Ando, you started, if I'm not mistaken, with karate, right?
Well, I started in my garage with Bruce Lee's books, as
Uh,
so many have. And I did that for I don't know, a couple of years, 3, 4 years, and kind of convinced friends to come in and experiment with stuff I thought I was figuring out from the book. My brother was always into martial arts, so we would always have fun playing around. But
Yeah.
at some point, I realized I needed to get outside the garage. I needed to learn. I needed a teacher. I was kidding myself. And I found I didn't know much about anything. I found a Taekwondo school that had a weight room. I understood weights. So I thought, well, even if I don't know what this Taekwondo stuff is, I can lift weights. So I got into the Taekwondo, and that was my first formal martial arts. I stayed there long enough to get my first degree black belt, but along the way realized like I wanted something more or different, I should say. And that took me I'm out in Los Angeles and found a Kung Fu style, and then one thing leads to another, and do a little bit of this and that. And so I've trained in multiple arts. I love them all. They all have something to offer.
Yeah.
Shotokan karate, somewhere in the middle there, came up, and my first degree black belt in that as well.
Wow.
But I call myself Sensei. That was really just to make the website friendly for my mom. My mom didn't know what a Sifu was, and I didn't even want to use a title. My last name's hard to spell, so I thought, I don't know, Sensei Ando, like Dr. Phil. People will maybe that's
Yeah, the same type of like syllable relationship.
I just thought it would be easy for people to find and spell and understand. And now I just every day on YouTube comments, I have to answer somebody, why do you call yourself Sensei when you like Kung Fu? And visit the website, it explains. It doesn't really matter even at the end of the day. I don't care.
Yeah.
I wish people didn't care.
No, I feel you, man. It's people online will say what they want to say, right? That's always, and it's unfortunate that 2020 has brought out the worst. I've been getting more and more troll comments
Is that
the
right?
past few months than before, and I
Really?
realize I've been trying to understand, like, people are just angry, people are just like lonely. I just have to remember, okay, whatever.
That's a good point. Again,
Yeah.
if you have a feeling that you have no control over your life, you're made to stay indoors, you have to wear a mask, you might die, you can't go to all your activities, you can't go to the bar, the restaurant, the gym that you like, you feel like you have no control. And if all I can do today is make my opinion heard on an online forum somehow, that makes me feel like I'm still punching, I'm still doing something.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense. Although I would hope that you'd get more love too. Do you get more love?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the YouTube game, right? And I think sometimes I don't know how it is with your channel, but with my channel, sometimes I try to do too much because it's like I have a lot of interest in martial arts, but the YouTube algorithm wants you to be a certain thing. So it's like the more I stray from that, one, it's like it's not reaching the right people, and the algorithm always forces me to pigeonhole, which is a blessing in disguise too, because it's like, okay, well, this is what audience want to, I'll just keep giving it to them. But I have these constant struggles once in a while where it's like, why am I not reaching people? It's because I want to expand too much. No, just create new channels on the new topics. Don't non-pigeonhole fight commentary breakdowns.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if anybody really understands those algorithms. I'm not even sure if YouTube understands those algorithms.
Yeah, they don't.
I'm a very pigeonholed channel, but I haven't had like a hit video in 1.5 years. I mean, it's not like, oh, well, once you have 250,000 subscribers and you've got a couple hit videos that, almost every video I put out is like 3,000, 5,000, 4,000. And when you have 260,000 subscribers, you think, well, why aren't you showing these videos to my subscribers? Because I am trying to be consistent with what the material is. So I don't know if it really matters. If it makes you feel better, you can start 2 channels and have your more diverse stuff on one and keep your commentary stuff on another. Maybe. But ultimately, I think every video is kind of living and dying on its own. That's what I'm seeing. It's like, if they like that topic and people share it and it goes, it goes. And if it doesn't, I have zero control over it.
Exactly.
So don't beat yourself up about that. You just keep being you, keep creating what you like, and let those comments feed back to you like, oh, that's what people like from me, or that's what people like to hear from me. And if that influences what kinds of videos you produce, then so be it. I think it's still good feedback. So I wouldn't be a hater on YouTube too much. It's still free.
Yeah,
I can't believe at some point they're going to charge and say, why? Well, you should pay us to put your videos here. Right now, no. So upload as much as you want. Go for it. Put anything you want up there and see what you can find out.
Yeah, exactly. And that is such a good point. It's like, and that's what I always tell people. A lot of people get mad at YouTube, and I'm sure I've been there. But at the end of the day, I always tell people, look, it's a free platform, and you can reach a lot of people. That's the key. There are limitations, but the key is, like, just follow some of the rules, because what other platform can potentially reach you that many people?
Absolutely. There
Like
was no
people that
such
start
thing.
their own website, right? It's very hard for a website to get 250, people who
Yeah,
just follow it, right?
absolutely.
250,000. Yeah.
And that's the other thing. People get disappointed. I mean, here I am saying, oh, only 3,000, 4,000. But if you pictured 3,000 people like in your living room, and they all came to your living room, and you
Yeah.
said, hey, I have something to say. And they said, okay, well, we'll listen to you. We'll give you 30 seconds. We'll give you at least a minute to try.
Yeah.
That's an incredible privilege. And growing up, there was no such thing. Whether you're
Yeah.
making movies or music or writing a book, there was no distribution center. So
Yeah.
for anybody nowadays, whatever you're into, that you could put it up for free and connect with people all over the world and potentially even start making some money on it and make a living. Wow. Everyone who's
Yeah.
complaining about that, shut up.
Yeah.
Use it. Just get into it. Do it better.
Yeah.
Be better at it.
Yeah.
And, again, take responsibility. Don't say, oh, poor me. Oh, it's YouTube. Oh, it's the trolls.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's you. Do it.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think I was headed down that direction for this past 2 weeks, because I was like, oh, I was very like non-internally self-control. I was like, and then I'm like, no, well, this is what the audience and YouTube wants me to do. Okay, let's do that. Let's do it. Take control. Let's do it.
Hey, take
Yeah,
control. You can always shut it
exactly.
down and start an Italian cooking channel. You don't have to do this.
Exactly, exactly.
It's for
And
fun.
dude,
This is
Sensei
like,
Ando, that's what I really love about you, because like you're such an encouraging, funny dude, and I can tell that you probably work very well with like teaching kids, right?
I try. I would like to
Mhm.
think I'm good with kids. I don't know what they would say. But yeah, no, I've taught kids as my main salaried job for over 14 years now, ages 2 to teen. And yeah, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about people and a
Mhm.
lot about martial arts through that form. Yeah, it's been great.
Hands down, you're a clown. Look, if you remember nothing else about martial arts, boxing, or fighting, please remember that your number one priority is to protect yourself at all times. I don't care if you throw the most ridiculous punches in the entire world, as long as you keep your hands up while you're throwing them, at least nobody can say that your defense wasn't tight. So as you get more advanced, your movements should probably start becoming a little more subtle, a little more sophisticated, a little harder to detect, which means you have to have more confidence in this pocket, because what was that phrase you were using before about wanting and needing?
So the concept is, as I learn to not get hit, I don't want to get hit, and I don't want to get so bad that I'm going to move things way over there. But
Right.
the reality is, I only need to not get hit that much.
In a cage, one-on-one, with an opponent the exact same size and weight, with rules and a ref, and no weapons, and time limits, because that always happens in a real fight. Yeah, well, it's more realistic than tag sparring or doing forms and fighting the air.
Part of what you do is you're good at like getting people to think without being too overboard about like didacticism. I don't know if I used that word correctly, but it's not like, oh, this is what you should think. It's like, hey, let me get you to like think how I'm thinking and just consider it. And that's a really good teaching method.
I agree. Thanks for pointing that out. I think that's really true. I think you get a lot more when you let people fill in the.
Exactly. Blanks.
When you do that, it absolutely brings them into it, instead of just saying, oh, I'm the teacher, be quiet, listen to me, you don't know anything,
Yeah.
you're doing it wrong. All that's just so negative, and it's not, it doesn't build enthusiasm. But when you
Yeah.
can say A, B, C, there they go, huh? And I just think that's a fun tool to play with, even if that's your only teaching tool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and by the way, also in martial arts, for sure, there's always somebody who can kill you or
Yeah.
tap you out or beat you down. So to come off like, well, here's the way it's done, and here's the way it works, and that's crazy, and this is that just shows you haven't trained much with other people. You don't
Yeah.
know much.
Yeah.
I'm far too humble to ever come on and just say, oh, I've been beaten down too many times to ever say, here's how you throw a side kick. I would rather say, hey, listen to your body. See what your foot says. I can tell you what my experience is, because that's my job as a teacher.
Yeah.
Let me share what I feel, but let me also open the door to what you feel, because we're not the same.
Yeah.
Your goals are different. Your body is different. Your personality is different. Your choices are different. So
Yeah.
if your teacher, especially with kids, you can't just sit them down with, like, if it's a painting class and everybody gets the same piece of paper, everybody gets the same color paint, and now you're going to do exactly what I said. You're going to paint a tree just like me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, well, there's a time and place for learning structure and format, but let them paint their own tree, and then
Yeah.
share that, what their tree looks like. That's
Yeah.
what art is, and martial art is just an extension of that. So Yes, there's a time to practice copying the masters and say, that's how you control the brush. That's how you combine colors. Thank you for showing me that. Now let me go paint my picture, baby. Let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like to afford kids that balance. You try of here's the structure. Here's what I think works really well. And now here's some room to play with it. See what you think.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for
Wow.
pointing that out. Yeah, that's
I
important.
can hear a lot of like the Bruce Lee stuff that you first started out with. I could hear it in how you like teach and how you think. It's really awesome.
I'll take that as a compliment. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I used to work with kids a lot, not teaching martial arts, but just other capacities.
In a
And
van with binoculars? What do you mean?
oh yeah, like I used to tutor them in different subjects and stuff like that. So like
So
and I worked in summer camps too. So I used to work with kids a lot, and I think my one thing was I could never deal with kids who like had an attitude or like kids who just couldn't understand what I was teaching. So that was my one weakness that like it made me not want to keep working with kids. Like I'll be honest, like people always said I was good with kids, but I would tell them, here's the truth. When a kid like when a kid doesn't understand, I get so mad at myself. I don't get mad at a kid. He's just a kid or she's just a kid, but I get so mad at myself. And I was just like, I'll go home and I get like angry at myself. Like, what did I do wrong? Ah!
good. Well, but that's exactly what we're talking about with martial arts, right? If you go spar with somebody and they kick your butt, you can go home and play victim. Like, oh, I suck and I'm terrible, or he had an advantage, or you can play that game, or you can say, all right, what can I make better here? And let me return and see if I can improve on that.
Yeah.
So teaching, again, I think, especially in the martial arts, when people tie on that black belt, they think, well, not only am I a great martial artist, I am a fabulous teacher. And it's a completely different skill set. And people don't generally appreciate the time it takes to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Totally different thing. So if you have a child who's not responding, everybody's got their A game. Oh, here's how I explained it. I told you. A good teacher has a B game. Like, well, here's another way I can show you.
Yeah.
Here's another way I can explain it. And I think a master teacher, like a master martial art, I have an unlimited supply of answers to this problem. Like, well, what language do you need to hear it? What speed? What tone? How firm? How funny? How much time? How much patience? How do I need to show you? Do I need to move you? Do I need to give you a game? Do I need to give you? There's so many variables as a teacher to play with that, you have to take that responsibility again on yourself and go, okay, you have an attitude. You don't like this, but maybe you have an attitude because you're not good at it. Maybe you have an attitude because you're afraid that you're going to keep failing at it. You're going to disappoint your family. So I have to be sensitive to why that kid's having a meltdown or a breakdown of some kind, or just attitude, and say, okay, I've been there. I've been young. I've had an attitude problem too.
Yeah.
So let me be the older, wiser one. Let me pull out my bag of tricks here. Let me try this one.
Yeah.
No? All right. Well, I got this one. How about that one? How about I throw you a fish? What's it going to take?
Yeah.
And that's the job,
Yeah, that is the job. And I think 2 lessons to learn is just, as a teacher, there's a lot of self-awareness too, because it's like part of the frustration sometimes teachers get, especially with themselves, right? He says, I've never been frustrated at kids. I've been frustrated at myself. You have to think about what in your past is causing this frustration. Is it PTSD from bad teachers in your past, like coming, you're like, oh my God, I'm becoming like this. You got to understand that too. Yeah. It's like, there's that extra awareness when you're teaching.
Yes. Oh my, you're the wisest guy I've talked to in a long time, my
friend. I'm just learning from you, Sensei Ando, because I'll be honest. Here's the truth. My dad used to try to teach me, and then he'd get frustrated and he'd beat me up. I'm just being completely honest. So I realized I still have some unaddressed PTSD from that. So probably some of those kids that made me frustrated at myself is because of that. Wow. I was like, wow, I feel this urge to be my dad right now, and I can't do that. And I'm like, wow. So it was like triggering some of that. I think there's probably some of that. And I wasn't being honest with myself about that. But that was probably one of the reasons I was getting so frustrated at myself. There's some PTSD from, my dad being a poor father.
Yeah, that's a beautiful revelation. When did you start suspecting that? Is that a recent thing or long ago, or when was that?
I mean, I've known for a while that my dad gave me some PTSD, but not understanding how it filtered into how I would get frustrated when I would teach, right? Because I am a good teacher. I'm just being honest. But when the kid can't understand after I pull out like 3 ways of explaining, I get really frustrated myself. Like I'll spend hours getting frustrated at myself. So I never connected that. There's probably some PTSD from my childhood.
Absolutely. Well, let's say yes. Mm-hmm. And now what can you do to work through that? What are you
Yeah.
doing in your training today that can help you deal with that? Are you
The thing
specifically
is,
addressing it? Or
I
you just
haven't
hope
really
someone-
worked through that. So the first step is realizing. So I've realized it now. Okay, now what can I do to work through that? And I think in the future, if I do work with kids again, the first thing to do is just have even more ways of explaining. So it's like, just pull out more things like what you said, Sensei Ando. So it's like instead of 3 ways of explaining, I have to prepare 5 or 6 ways of explaining.
Okay.
I think that's the first step, and then I'm totally willing to hear more advice from you.
Sure. Well, if I can, and I'm not a PhD, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, but just from my experience, the bag of tricks takes a long time to accrue, just like your bag of martial arts tricks and your
Yeah.
fighting techniques. So I've become a better and better teacher because I've consciously tried to become a better teacher.
Yeah.
But the shortcut, I would say, if you don't have a big bag of tricks and if someone's listening right now and they're already frustrated with someone, or they're going to see someone today and get frustrated, the shortcut is don't take any of it personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have personally, I call it my dark hour, usually after I teach, and I've given everything I can, I'm sweated, my voice is shot. And there's always like this lull afterwards where you feel like I didn't give enough, they didn't do enough, they're not great enough, they're not where I want them to be. And you can really feel like a failure all the time as a teacher. And I always think about so many of my teachers that I thought were great teachers seem to be brokenhearted all the time because they've seen so many students come and go, so many promising start up, and then they disappear, they get injured, or they find a different art, and I've just seen so many great teachers just have that sullen, kind of defeated, they lose their fire to teach.
Yeah.
But I think so the shortcut tip here would be when you get into that moment, you're showing someone and you're loving it, this is going to change their life, you think it's the best, but the kid not getting it or doesn't care, doesn't listen. In that moment, it's so personal for you, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I have to remember that it's like I'm making a pie, I'm cutting up these apples, I'm making a butter crust, I'm taking the time, I'm tasting the spices, I'm doing everything I can. And if I come over to your house, Jerry, and I say, Jerry, would you like a piece of apple pie? And you say, I just ate, I'm not that hungry. I cannot slam that pie against the wall or cry in the pie.
Yeah.
I just have to say, oh, okay, well, maybe later.
Yeah.
Or if you say, I'm allergic to apples. I say, you know what? I didn't know that. Let me try a blueberry pie. I'll come back.
Yeah.
It's not personal. And again, like you just said, when you're identifying your own issues with PTSD or something like that, I don't know everything about even myself, let alone my student.
Yeah.
So if you have some 5-year-old, 8-year-old, 20-year-old, 50-year-old, it doesn't matter. You don't know if they just got beat up today, earlier. You don't know if they've been verbally abused. You don't know if they are on drugs or they're on a hangover. You don't know if they just got fired or they're battling an illness that they haven't told anybody about, or they don't have the health insurance, they can't pay for treatment, or their parents dying. I don't know. If they feel like sharing that, then I have information.
Yeah.
But if they don't, I have to just always give them the benefit of the doubt that however they're processing what I'm giving them today, that's the best way for them today.
Yeah.
On their journey, that's as much as they can handle. And it doesn't matter how much I shout at them, encourage them, smile, cheer. On my end, that makes sense. Like, this should work. But on their end, they're thinking like, my parents are going through a divorce right now. And I'm not talking about it. The kid doesn't even know how to process it yet. I just know dad's not here anymore. And they're yelling on the phone. And this is something that they're carrying with them. And now they have a teacher, another guy, and they're talking to them. Or maybe you look like this guy that their mom's having an affair with, or some weird uncle who's been being inappropriate. I don't know.
Yeah.
So all I can do is be loving. All I can do is be patient. And all I can say is like, well, here's the pie I made today, guys. Anybody want a piece? I'm going to serve it. If they want to eat it, they eat it. If they don't, that's okay. I'm going to make another pie tomorrow. Come back when you're ready. Yeah. So I would just say don't take it personally, even though teaching feels so personal.
Yeah. I think, and it's so important that we're talking about this and that it's a talk about martial arts because, when I used to, those years that I worked with kids and, I taught and stuff, I didn't have martial arts in my life. So I think I probably would have had a better perspective as a teacher if I were doing martial arts on the side,
Not that you were going to punch them.
Oh, no, not at all.
I misunderstood. Here you go. Just sleep.
Exactly.
Take a little nap.
Yeah. But, It's so true. It's like, don't take it personally, and don't take it personally. And it's really hard as a teacher, but yeah, I think now that I have martial arts in my life, it'd be interesting to tutor again, just to see, what changes because of the extra awareness and the growth and everything. What changes result because yeah.
Yeah, well, you alluded to it before. There's the saying that when you teach, you learn twice.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm a huge believer in that. I mean, I didn't predict that I was going to be teaching kids a karate type of style of movement. I thought, no way, no way. But when I got into it, and I'm a student-minded person, it's like, well, what can I learn from this? And that's what opened up this whole new door to me, to learning about myself. Like, why am I impatient just like you? Why does this 4-year-old come in and make me, a grown man, think, I hate that kid? Like, oh no, he's here. It ruins my whole day.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? A 4-year-old is changing your emotional state. A 4-year-old is getting your temper up. Yeah. If you can't control yourself in the face of a 4-year-old, how are you going to control yourself when some 40-year-old is pushing you around a parking lot or pulling out a knife? It's just like, this is where it starts. Let's go back to the playground, back to kindergarten, and all of these triggers that the kids are bringing up. Yeah. Let me deal with them here. Yeah. And then I can build on that. And I feel that it's been the healthiest therapeutic process to work with kids, because I see adults and myself so much more clearly now.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things I think, being very reflective and trying to learn, is also you start really, like you were talking about how, let's say a kid's giving you problems. You don't know what's going on at home. You don't know what's going on. It's like you really start understanding that, like, even if you reflect on yourself, like, my home wasn't the best home, and so I would act out in school. And I think every teacher who knew me before middle school, I started bottling it in. But like before then, they were like, why is this kid such a bad kid? This kid literally goofs off all the time. And like I even admit this. I've been a bully in elementary school. Like, I bullied one kid so bad when I lived in Chicago that he pulled a knife on me. It was pretty bad. So
good for him.
Good for him, exactly. I mean, we became friends after that because I respected him. Was like, wow, this kid was tougher than I thought. But and guys, I'm not advocating for people to pull knives.
Did you just send out a message to anyone listening? If you're a young person, pull a knife. That will get their respect, and then you'll become friends.
That's what I was gonna say, guys. That was not the message, but that was what happened. But don't pull knives. There's other ways of dealing with it. But like, I think about my past. I'm like, there's certain kids, maybe society will call them problem kids or whatever. But usually, it's not the kid's fault per se. There's a lot of other factors that are making the kid act that way. Maybe 1 out of a million kids are really born psychopaths, but those are the exceptions. Most kids, if they're giving you problems, it's probably something else going on in their lives. And it's like, as a teacher, you have to understand that. And maybe you're the only thing that they can count on for now,
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Jerry, my God. Absolutely right. I tell that when I've coached teachers and trained teachers. That's what I always tell them. I said, look, you might be the friendliest, most patient and understanding person they know. Maybe mom and dad aren't connected, or they're just distant, or they're mean, or they're abusive. Maybe nanny doesn't speak your language. I don't know. But when you look at it, you may be the only person who looks into that kid's eyes and has ever said, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
That is such a powerful expression to give to another human being, particularly a child, anybody though, that you can never, ever abuse that power by becoming another adult who's upset with me. I'm just another adult who's impatient, another adult who rolls their eyes when I come in. No, like you just said, you were not a bad kid. Even when you were bullying, your heart was not a bully. You were doing something to overcome some insecurity or some power struggle at home that you needed to find balance in out somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's totally understandable. I believe I felt like that too. I was never a physical bully, but I was insulting people and making fun of people when I was a young guy. Absolutely. I was the bully. And I reflect on that, but was I a bad guy? Not in my heart. I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. It's just that in that moment, that was the only way I could feel like I was a person, that I had value. Yeah. And once you understand that, as you do, Now, as you move through the world and you see any age person acting out,
Yeah.
shouting, well, nowadays, so many people acting out in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to figure out, well, what's justifiable and what's you just being out of control?
Yeah.
What is a righteous cause that you're actually representing here? And what's you just using this as an excuse to exercise your demons?
Yeah.
So it gets very complex, but that's why you just got to keep it simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Take the breath. I don't take anyone else's outbursts as personally. Even if you're in my face, you're commenting on my video, or in person, you suck.
Yeah.
You're the worst. I hate your guts. When you can just sit there and breathe and be aware of it and kind of see it from their side, doesn't mean agree. It means let me feel what you're feeling for a second here. It's not only a smart way to keep yourself sane, it's also great martial arts strategy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't just keep pushing people away, get off, and try to win the fight.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to accept it and go, okay, that's where we are. That's where we are. What can I do with this?
Yeah.
So not taking things personally, that Zen mind or stoicism, I think there's a reason why those kinds of themes always come up in martial arts, because it's not just feel good, meditate, chill out. It's a strategy. It's how you get success. It's how you survive.
Yeah.
So I'm just rambling now, but you got me.
But it is such a good point, because on YouTube, it's like that type of stoicism gets tested over 9,000 basically. And there are days, man, especially my pet peeve. This is a complete honest thing. Most viewers, if they want to get on my nerves, don't know what to do. If it's a viewer that's been like subscribed for a long time, for longer than a year, just a viewer I feel like I started to get to know, and suddenly maybe he starts having a bad year. He just starts insulting in every video. So he's been subscribed for like 2 years, very good constructive comments, and suddenly he just starts insulting at every video. I've had viewers do that, and those are my pet peeves. Those piss me off so bad. That's my weakness right now.
Never again, Jerry. No, this is a new day for you. Take a breath.
I know. Yeah.
Never again, because you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
You don't know what other behavior that you're saving them from. If they found you as a safe outlet to mouth off, maybe that saves them from hitting their kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that was better than driving drunk tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
exactly.
I have to be the one to take the shots. It's like, I think that's the end of Batman Begins or something like that.
Yeah.
Where he has the choice to either become the villain, the Dark Knight, or be the White Knight. Like, I think that's Harvey Dent. I don't even like those films that much, but that idea is so powerful.
Yeah.
That says, I'm the one who can take the hits. Blame me. The cops died or whatever the bad thing was. Put it on me, because I can take the hit.
Yeah.
And so what's the point of being a martial artist if I can't take the hit? Doesn't mean I allow people to abuse me. If I have to block someone, I'll block them.
Yeah.
After me personally or my family, okay, that's different. Now we're self-defense. But if somebody wants to leave a hateful comment on my YouTube channel, it's an anonymous person I don't even know from what. That the idea that's like the 4-year-old walking in and getting my temper up. Like, why would I allow that? I'm a happy guy. I've trained myself to take much harder hits than that.
Yeah.
If that guy feels better today because he could mouth off to me on an anonymous YouTube channel and make some snarky comment, okay, God bless you, sir. I hope things turn around for you, but I hope this made you feel better. And hope your world's a little safer, and the people around you are a little safer too. Yeah. So take the hits, Jerry. You can take it.
Exactly.
Take the hits.
Exactly.
Be honored that you're in a position. You put yourself in a position.
Exactly.
What did you expect? Just pure love? No. There are people who need to beat up other people. These are the bad guys, or they just haven't figured out how to live happily. Yeah. So if you have to be the guy, aren't you strong enough? Hell yeah, you're strong enough. Put it up. Bring it, people. Bring me the bad comments. So I can take.
Totally. It's something to always keep in mind, because it's just like you're prepared for it as someone on YouTube, but then it's like when someone that you thought was cool with you or you're cool with, after like 2 years starts turning on you, that's like, oh, so everyone's got their weakness, but like you said, Ando, not anymore, that's not going to get to me anymore.
You already opened up this door, like the way you were raised.
Yeah.
Forget about some anonymous subscriber on YouTube for 2 years who suddenly makes a bad comment. You have people in your family who were breaking their trust with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That's far greater sin.
Yeah.
Let's say, than some YouTube troll.
Yeah.
So if you've already survived much greater breaks of trust, this is nothing. Yeah. It's maybe a trigger to those bigger issues, which you already talked about before. It's a reminder, like, I thought I could trust you. Now you've betrayed me. So this is like a girl dumping you out of nowhere. Oh, I thought we were going to get married, and then she dumps you.
Yeah.
That is a huge, or a parent who did not come through for you, or was not a good provider, or not trustworthy. This pattern is going to repeat forever. And
yes,
I'm going to sound cynical for a minute, but I can pull it out.
Yeah.
I believe every single person on the planet will disappoint you at some point.
Yeah, 100%.
One way or the other. It doesn't mean that they're all bad people. It's just that we all want different things. We're on different parts of our journey. Every single person, your teacher that you loved for that first 6 years, suddenly said something or did something that now disappoints you.
Yeah.
But the reverse of it is, you're going to be disappointing to other people too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, your subscriber wanted you to do more of those kinds of videos, but you wanted to make this other kind of video. You just disappointed them. Yeah. Oh, I thought that video would be longer. No, you disappointed them. Oh, I thought you were going to show up and take class. I disappointed you. Oh, I thought you were going to be a better partner in my sparring tape. No, I disappointed. Mm-hmm. You will always be disappointing to other people, just as other people are disappointing to you.
Yeah.
So the sooner we just go, oh, okay, that's the game.
Yeah.
It's okay. If you find out, oh, my wife's been cheating on me for 5 years. That doesn't mean your life is over. That doesn't mean that, what? I've never heard of anybody betraying a trust before. No, that's part of the game. Grow up.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it? That's martial arts. Yeah. I don't want to get punched in the face either, but I train what to do if I get punched in the face.
Exactly.
And it's not to freak out and lose my cool.
Yeah.
It's to take a breath, go, okay, hang on. What do I need to do now to survive and maybe take control of the situation, and then figure out what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of this training, is to what do you do when society is broken down and you're under attack, and now you take that technology, which is much worse. A knife attack is much worse than getting dumped.
Yeah.
Take the technology of the extreme survival situations and now apply that to every single relationship you're in, every single comment you get, every single person who cuts you in line or a red light you get, or disappointment of yourself. Like you wake up one day, I'm a little tired today. I don't feel like training that hard. Oh, how disappointing. Now I feel like a loser. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Life's too short for all that. Work with what you got. Don't take anything personally. Full power ahead.
Yeah. And, this conversation is so great because it's applying this martial artist mentality to life, right? That's the whole point of being a martial artist. It's not just about beating up people, or it's not just about self-defense. There's a lot more. Even just applying the word self-defense, there's a lot more than just physical self-defense. This is a lot more. So that's why I love it, man. Like, I think Sensei Ando, what's really cool about you is that you're like a modern martial artist. You're not just a fighter or an MMA guy. You're a modern martial artist.
No. Yeah, I love every style of martial art for what it turns people into, the transformations that can occur. I don't care if it's a Kempo school, it's an MMA gym, boxing academy. I don't care. If you're in there taking hits and taking losses on a routine basis as an exercise to become a better person, it's a great martial art. Stay there. Keep doing that. Yeah. But absolutely, I'm going to say, maybe this will draw out a troll. Fighting is the easy part. What's hard about fighting? You don't even need to take a martial arts class just to go, get off me, get off me. Anybody can just fight. Yeah. You get better at it. You get smarter. You can talk about this technique versus that technique. And that's nice. That's not hard. Yeah. What's hard is the emotional part, the psychological part that you bring into the fight, which you also carry around in every other part of your life.
Yeah.
If you're a happy guy, then I'm going to fight happy. If you're a broken guy, you're going to be a broken fighter. And it just takes someone to figure out how to exploit those weaknesses to take advantage of you in a fight, in business, in a relationship, everywhere.
Yeah.
So you're you everywhere you go. That's why martial arts at its best is a full life project. It's everything. It's a nice start to say, I took Krav Maga in a weekend workshop, and now I know how to get out of a choke. That's great. You've taken one step into something. But let's not just talk about what to do with your hands. How'd you feel?
Yeah.
Do you feel like a winner now? Do you feel stronger? Why? Do you feel like a loser? Do you feel like it was too much and it was overwhelming? Why? And then you start peeling that onion. Now you're getting somewhere. You keep peeling that onion, I think you get to a happy life. If you put it down and say, this onion makes me cry, it hurts, well, then you're going to stay the way you are. You'll be broken forever.
Yeah, dude, I love the onion analogy, man. Yeah, I love because if you peel the onion completely, then you realize it's just, it's like, I could really go Buddhist with that. I'm a Christian, but I could really go Buddhist with the onion analogy too.
All right.
Yeah. Wow. So, okay, Sensei Ando, what is sort of like next for you? Is it like focus more on teaching, focus on YouTube and teaching, focus on other stuff?
Well, I'm trying to find my way like everybody else. My desire is to keep learning on my student side and to keep sharing everything I can, because I truly believe that, I mean, the way martial arts changed my life, the way it's changed your life,
Yeah.
I really believe that if anyone still has issues about training in martial arts, I want to be a friendly, accessible face to start here. You don't have
Yeah.
to stay here,
Yeah.
but at least maybe if I'm the welcome mat to martial arts, come in, try a little of this, and then see where this journey takes you.
Yeah.
So with the pandemic, I've had to close the ownership in in a school that I worked at. So it's likely I'll be relocating, you know, physically and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So I've opened up my online school to start trying to figure out if that's viable. But in a nutshell, look, I teach online if people want it. I'll teach privates in person if they want. I will be opening up an academy when I get my new digs. I'm available. I'm accessible. And I'm just going to keep learning and sharing till the day I die. I'm all in on this now. I'm not like an insurance salesman by day and something else at night. I'm all in on this. So I'm still trying to figure out, is YouTube the best place still for me? Maybe I should be over here.
Yeah.
Should it be a pay model? Does that mean that people aren't taking it seriously because it's free and they don't take it seriously?
Mhm.
I'll probably try a little bit of everything over the next year or two and just see where the most people are getting the most value. And that's where I will spend my time. But hopefully everything. I
Yeah.
love Jesse Enkamp does those karate
Mhm.
nerd experiences where he brings in multiple teachers doing multiple things with a group of people. That's my big dream. I would love to have like a little college of martial art things all over the place and bring in people I love and trust and have a big martial arts potluck dinners kind of. Bring
Yeah.
a pie, bring a style, bring your sweats, and let's work out together. I just love the whole building of a community of martial artists. So
Yeah.
that would be the big dream, to have the big, anywhere I go, I could say, hey, you guys know me here. Let's have a meetup. Let's have a training together. Let's have a workshop. Let's do something. And people would come together and know it's a safe place to share and do their thing, paint their tree any color they want to. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be the big dream.
And for viewers in the LA area, Sensei Ando is in the LA area. So if LA's a big city, so I know I have viewers in LA. Dude, if you want to train with him, I will put a link to his website and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a mask. I have some time here and there. I'm not cheap nowadays because I'm old and my training time is important to me too. So if I'm teaching, that means I'm not training. I like training. But absolutely. Or on Skype, or I even have just send me a video of something and I can give you feedback. If you want my opinion on stuff, I can do that.
Ooh.
I don't know. I'm figuring it out.
Yeah.
It's
Dude,
fun.
that's a pretty cool model. I never thought about that, but like a lot of coaches, that's something like you could send them some stuff, and then it's like a lot of viewers send me stuff. They're like, Jerry, can you like look at it? And I'm like, there's a backlog of stuff. So for viewers that keep sending me stuff that maybe like I haven't had time to look at, you can send Sensei Ando. And, he might charge you a little, but you're getting very expert kind of opinions. So I think it's worth it.
That's it. To me, that's it. I mean, like you said, I mean, I'm old now. I'm 50. I'm getting older. My time is very short. I've got my wife. I've got my own training. I've got my family. I've got stuff to do. So I do, I can't answer. I try to answer every email and every comment I get. I'm still working hard on that. That's a full-time job, though.
Yeah.
And as my audience has grown, I have to start making choices.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, for almost nothing, I'll give you an opinion on something. And I do feel in this modern age, the one odd thing is I'm still a guy who will drive an hour across town, pay $200 an hour for a private lesson over and over again when I know that that's going to change how I do things.
Yeah.
And nowadays, you could put up a video for 99 cents and someone's going to say, you sell it. You're selling something for 99 cents. I'm not paying for that. It's like, are you crazy? When I've had teachers in the past, like you go to some workshop, I remember my Taekwondo teacher did this with me once, and it was an incredible experience. I was very young. I was a young guy. I thought my Taekwondo teacher knew everything. And he took me to someone else's seminar. Jiu-jitsu. It was Carl Sestari. It was a jiu-jitsu seminar. And I said, well, but you're already a black belt in a couple different styles. Like, why are you here? And he said, look, he goes, if I can come here, I mean, we had to drive here. It costs a little bit of money, a couple hours. He goes, but if I can learn one thing that I can take with me for the rest of my martial arts career, then it's totally worth it. And that to me is how I see any YouTube video. When people get used to just getting tips for free and workouts for free, everything's for free, they don't understand the value of that. I didn't have any of that when I was growing up. There was no such thing as like, I'm curious about capoeira. Then you could go on YouTube and get hours and hours and hours of content and tutorials on capoeira. You couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You had to drive. You had to ask around. You had to, especially back then, there weren't as many styles and as many schools.
Yeah.
You might have to go 3 states away
Yeah.
for some 1-hour workshop that costs $100. And that would be it. It was so hard to get information. So I still balance that out. Like, look, I mean, I'd love everything to be free. We could all be in my family, would be in the living room together, but I do have to eat. I need some pie. And if a little bit of money means that you take it a little more seriously and you pay attention to it and you treat it with a little more respect, then okay, that's the way it's going to have to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing that Sensei Ando talked about like having a community in martial arts, dude, I'm totally on board with that. I would love to one day like get a bunch of the people who've been on Fight Commentary Breakdowns together. We're all cool people, man. I have nobody who's been on Fight Commentary Breakdowns has an attitude. I probably have the most attitude out of all the people. Like all the people I could guarantee you are cool. You know, I probably, you know, people might have stuff to say about me, but you know, I think I'm cool too. Anyways, so we get like a group of us. We could like do a picnic. I'd be totally down to do a picnic.
Absolutely. I'll bring a pie. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you know, what you just said there is really important. You attract people like you. That's what I've learned about YouTube. I thought when I started YouTube, it would just be a hate fest because who the heck am I? Well, I'm nobody. And it was such the opposite. I realized like, oh, whatever you put out, that's what you're going to get back.
Yeah.
If you make videos where you trash other people and you trash other styles, and people are going to come, those kinds of people come to your site to trash and trash.
Yeah.
I've got almost a 97% thumb up rate on my videos. I get very little hate. I'm not saying bring it, although if you want to bring it just to get your demons out and I'm the guy, I'll take the hit.
Yeah.
But what I found was like, wait a minute, you build the community just by being you.
Yeah.
Your attitude, the real you can't really hide it. Your way you use your voice and the way you use your face. People understand either you're my kind of person or you are not.
Yeah.
You're putting out a good vibe. I'm not surprised that all of your guests and all of your teachers have been cool people because you're being cool, right? So this is it.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be part of that community. You're a cool dude. I'd like to think I'm a cool dude.
Yeah, you're so awesome, man.
Cool dudes.
Yeah. I still remember. Just to let viewers know, when I first stumbled on Sensei Ando, he joked around so much in his video. In fact, I think Sensei Ando, when you had that phase, you threw a lot of jokes in your videos. I think some comments were like, "Dude, why are you joking so much?" I don't remember if you remember that phase, but I really appreciate those jokes. Like you had the perfect type of. It was almost like a dad joke type of humor, but I really liked it.
I don't know any other way. I have to laugh. I have to keep reminding myself that life's not. You can't take it that personally or that seriously.
Yeah.
Even in serious times, pandemic, equality rights. I mean, there are so many serious topics.
Yeah.
We lose the sense of humanity and the humor that can accompany all this.
Yeah.
We're losing a powerful tool to connect with each other. If I'm angry at you and you're angry at me and we don't talk, we don't communicate, we don't build a bridge, we can't find common ground and laugh about something like, yeah, it is raining. Well, then there's no hope.
Yeah.
Because you're over there and I'm over here and I don't like you and I'm not going to talk to you. And there's nothing funny that we have in common. Humor is can be one tool that shows what we have in common.
Yeah.
When we all see that's why these cat videos and dog videos we make fun of them, but they're an incredible healing tool.
Yeah.
Because when we see the dog do something silly, you could play that in any country all over the world and almost everyone will go, ha, ha, ha. And now you have something in common.
Yeah.
Now you have an open door to then get to the next level. Oh, well, you thought that was funny. Well, would you like to eat this? I just made this. Oh, you like that? Okay. Hey, have you ever done this kind of move? Oh, you like that move? Well, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's the open door. So it starts with a smile, right? Saying, hi, I'm welcome to talk. I'm accessible. I'm not a hater. Turns into a joke, something we have in common, hopefully. And then it turns into information exchange. Then it turns into a relationship. Then it turns into a community. And then I think that's the only way we save the world from blowing itself up.
Yes. And I think, these words are so much more, relevant in this current 2020, man. So, guys, go, share a laugh with people, share a meal. Doesn't have to be martial art, but share a hobby or something. That's basically what Sensei Ando just shared was like one of the ways to start building relationships, because the art of building a relationship is going to be harder and harder under all this like lockdowns. It's like, how do you build a relationship? Well, share a laugh first, then maybe share something else. It's a really good thing. I mean, there's a lot of online dating that's been happening under this like lockdown, right? And so like what they do is like, they'll have people like literally go virtually, like two people not in the same room, go virtually somewhere together.
Okay. Is that what the kids are doing nowadays? I did not know. I'm married
nowadays. Virtual dating. I mean, the people who don't care about the lockdown are probably still going on Tinder and swiping, and then they'll do that. But those are pretty vacuous relationships, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. There'll be a hater comment. All right. I met my wife on Tinder. How dare you,
I
sir?
actually have met people who like met their boyfriends and girlfriends and significants on Tinder. So they're
That's again. I'm just open to whatever makes people happy. If that's the way it works for you, it works for you. It's a different style of building a relationship. Okay.
Yeah. It's like it's like what I tell people who they might criticize certain styles. I'm like but there are people who can make that style work. And there's styles that that work for people. So like don't judge their choices as much as we all want to, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You don't know, again, just like you don't know what the kid is going through at home. I don't know what part of the journey you're on.
Yeah.
There are certain styles that answer certain questions better than any other style. And you might be in a part of your journey where you need that question answered. So you go to that place to answer that question. And then you either stay or you move on to the next question.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not against style hopping is not the same as style exploring. If the original questions that I had as a martial artist, I got over.
Yeah.
So then what? You're supposed to just keep repeating those same answers and just no. I have new questions, and that leads to a different teacher, a different style. And that leads to new questions, and there's someone else who can help with that.
Yeah.
And I think in the tradition of old tradition martial arts, whether it was karate or kung fu, whatever, it wasn't as you only teach one way, learn one way. It was, if you want to learn kicking, you should go talk to that guy. Oh, you're into the wrist locks, you should go talk to that guy.
Yeah.
There was that more of a community, I think, spirit available. And nowadays, to make fun of a different school, that's a McDojo, and that style doesn't work in the ring. And it's like, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
I mean, lifting a barbell. Hey, how are you going to apply that into a fight? You've never been attacked by a barbell. It's like, right. So, but you're lifting weights because there's some value in it. Yeah, but breaking boards is stupid. Boards don't hit back. It's like, I think they know that. We understand that. Yeah. It's like, why are you picking on exercises? That's what every style is. A style is a collection of drills and exercises that they think answer the most important questions.
Yeah.
So if you don't agree on what the questions are, then you're going to have different answers for these things.
Yeah.
So what's the point of making styles? Because every style, I've trained in Sistema now, Aikido, little Tai Chi, the internal arts, and those are styles that get attacked constantly. Constantly. But that just tells me that those students haven't asked those questions yet. Maybe they never will.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I don't hate them for that. I don't even look down on them for that, like in an arrogant way. I just say, okay, you're not there yet. If you had told me 30 years ago that I'd be interested in what I see on System or something, I would say, no, that's not what I want. I never saw Bruce Lee do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Bruce Lee didn't live long enough to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
I already answered those questions in my 20s of what Bruce Lee was talking about. Now I'm like, okay, well, what else is there? I have these other questions. And other arts are better at answering those questions than certain arts. So that's all.
Yeah. And I think it's so important to understand that, because if you asked me 5 years ago, where my journey was going to be, I would have never known I would have taken a journey like this. Like, I haven't trained jiu-jitsu much anymore because one day I just realized my stand-up needs work. I want to work on my stand-up striking first. So like I was one of those guys, like people usually, the story with jiu-jitsu is like, they fall in love with jiu-jitsu because that's like the best one-on-one martial art. But the more I train, the more like, no, I want to be able to like stand and like run, so before someone can catch up to me and grapple with me, I'm running, or if he needs to, strike me, I'll strike with him and then run. Like, so my journey's so weird. Like I was doing jiu-jitsu for a while, and then I took a break, and then I went into boxing, and now I'm doing Muay Thai. It's like, so I did the opposite. Most people are like, oh my God, I was doing all this stuff, and then I did jiu-jitsu, and then I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. I can't do anything else. Like I was the opposite. I was like, jiu-jitsu opened the door for me to think about other things. So like everyone's journey's different too. And absolutely. I love what you said, Ando. It's like, you don't know where you're going to be in life until you're there. So you can't judge people on their choices. I'm sure people will be like, I still get people like, Jared, come on, train more jiu-jitsu. Come on. I'm like, but that's not what I need right now. I will need jiu-jitsu eventually, but that's not what I need right now. I need to learn how to strike better. I need to learn to take all that kung fu I did when I was younger and like apply it better with boxing and Muay Thai and stuff like that. It's like, that's what I need right now. And so, yeah, it's a good, I'm just telling my story because it's like, I wouldn't have understood what you said until like this age in my life now.
Sure. Absolutely. And I'm sure anyone listening, I bet, is nodding their head going, yeah, that makes sense. It doesn't even, when you explain it that way, it doesn't even sound controversial. Like, yeah, well, of course. If you have a particular, and again, I always look at the emotional issue behind the technique.
Yeah.
So there are some people who maybe were raised with brothers and sisters, and they did a lot of rolling around, and they always felt comfortable being touched.
Yeah.
Other people might be an only child, or they had a relationship with their siblings where they didn't roll around much or roughhouse, and they never got touched.
Mm-hmm.
That can be a huge difference in how you approach martial arts. There'll be some people instantly just want to stay to stand-up arts that keep you away, spars, tagging style sparring, because that comfort comes from their childhood. They're used to just staying away from people. And that's why if the first time you grab somebody and they've never been grabbed before, it seems like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the greatest martial art of all time, because they're so freaked out that they're being touched, and you're I have no problem being touched.
Yeah.
Which is why wrestlers and football players are so dominant in high schools as bullies.
Yeah.
Because they're used to touching, they're used to hitting, they're used to rolling around on each other.
Yeah.
Forget about technique. It's just the emotional comfort of like, I don't care if I touch you. I don't care if I put my face right on your chest.
Yeah.
Huge from Taekwondo standpoint. It's like, geez, I mean, it's illegal. Don't even get back, get away.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the bigger issue there. If you're already comfortable being close, or you already did a little high school wrestling, then your fear might be getting knocked out or getting kicked in the head or slipping or footwork or multiple people. You might have a completely different set of fears that you're trying to address. Or vice versa. You may be totally comfortable moving around. You're on track team and you always played tennis really well. You feel really good on your feet. But man, if somebody grabs your wrist, you suddenly freeze up. You go, oh God, nobody ever touched me like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe my dad used to touch me like that, and it freaks me out. My whole body gets tense and I feel like a 2-year-old again.
Yeah.
You got to deal with that stuff. So I can't explain what someone else's needs are. As a teacher, I hope to get to know them better and hope to provide them the answers that they're looking for.
Yeah.
But if I can't, then I would say, I've said it so many times where someone's like, what style should I do? Because that's a typical question. And you're like, well, I don't know you. I would say, go start anything. Take whatever's closest. That's easy for you. Whatever you can afford, it's right next. Go try there. You'll know pretty soon whether that's the kind of thing that you go, I hate this, and therefore I should do more of it. Or I hate this for the right reasons. Let me go try something else.
Yeah.
But it's the beginning of a journey.
Yeah.
I don't expect the first place you go to, the first teacher, the first style, to be the only one you're ever going to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
To me, that's odd. That'd be like, okay, you've eaten oatmeal your whole life, and at the age of 10, you're allowed to go eat at other restaurants. And you say, oh, I can eat anything I want? What's this hot dog? And you love that hot dog so much that you decide, I'm never going to eat anything else again but hot dogs. It's like, what are the odds of that?
Yeah.
What kind of life is that? What are you, crazy?
Yeah.
Of course not.
Yeah.
You're going to just get that first taste of something outside of oatmeal and go, well, this is different. I like this. What else is there out there? What else have I been missing?
Yeah.
And now, depending on your gastronomical journey, you're going to find your way through all the best restaurants.
I love that. One thing that I think if people are watching this, they're realizing teaching in general, but teaching kids, just teaching in general, there's a lot of like science to it. There's a lot of art and science to it. And I think if someone wants to teach, that's one thing. I think it's their responsibility to study up on it a little, about child psychology, about developmental psychology, about all that. Right. And I think that's so important. And I think Sensei Ando, well, that's something you're really good at. I can tell you've like thought and studied some of that.
Yes, but again, I would always say that I'm not into the clinical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in college, my wife was still finishing up, so I took a couple master level courses like for psychology, thinking, oh, I'll train myself to be a psychologist. That's cool, or a counselor of some kind. I like that. But what I've come to realize, like I said, is it's just about you need everything you need to learn is right here in every relationship that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So if your goal is to communicate with students better, then teach and start paying attention to what's happening and if you're being effective or not and what feelings you're bringing up, because that's going to be better than any textbook or any online course or some degree that you have. I don't care. Those aren't people. It's interesting statistics. It can give you ideas for approaches to try. Of course, learn from anything any way you can. But I didn't do that route. I'm still learning, talking with you, talking with anybody, like, oh, well, what's the effect? Like we said before, to start a relationship, the first thing you can do is start a smile, right? Let your smile be your shield and your sword. So if I'm standing in line at Starbucks or outside of Costco nowadays, and everyone's going, they got their masks on or whatever, well, you can be the first one to let someone cut in front of you, or you can give a little friendly wave or a little nod. You can still see that even with a mask on, you can tell if someone's being friendly or not.
Yeah.
Just seeing how people react to that tells you so much about what your next move should be, right? That's really just like if you're setting up jabs or setting up punches in boxing. You don't just come out and go, You say, all right, well, who are you? Let's see. What if I jab? What do you do? Let me learn from your behavior. Oh, so that's interesting. You go that way a little bit. Oh, all right. What if I go a little faster? Okay, you backed up a little. Okay, now I know more. Yeah. So the smile to me is the jab of relationships. It's like, I'm presenting now as friendly and as accessible as I can. Hi. Based on your reaction, will you withdraw? Who are you? Or get out of my way? Or whatever that reaction is. And I know, oh, so you're afraid of this. There's something uncomfortable about closeness. There's something that friendliness makes you feel, okay, let me see if I can play with that. Then I bring out my bag of tools and my toys. And let's, if I have to, but again, this is going to be self-defense, because if you get stopped at a red light and the guy opens up his car door ahead of you and he starts coming around to your door, this has nothing to do with textbooks. This has to do with you reading that relationship. Like, what's this guy on? Is he nuts? Does he have a valid complaint? Is he just coming to tell me my gas cap is open? I have to be able to read this as a human being to another human being, and then start trusting my tools to figure out what face to show, what posture to present, get out of the car, stay in the car, hit the gas, run him over. I got to make my choices. Yeah. So to me, this is always an ongoing, every conversation is your classroom. Everything is a sparring match. Everything. And you don't have to be looking to destroy your partner. You're just looking to, how do I get you to come out more? Maybe I want to draw you out and let me see what your punches look like. Yeah. Somebody said something really interesting once. I can't remember. I wish I could always remember the quote of who said it. But they said that the way you attack gives away what you're most afraid of getting attacked by. Ooh. And I thought that was a really interesting thought, that you will do what you're afraid of having done to you. So I'll put that out there for everybody to think about what you like doing to other people, and then consider that's because you don't want them to do that to you. And that's why you have so much confidence in it, because you think it's the scariest thing there is. The flip side is it's scary to you too. So it's worth unpacking it a little bit.
Yeah. Wow, that's such a cool thing. I guess I'll have to think about it.
Yeah, think about that.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Guys, this was Sensei Ando. And if you stumble on this, whenever in my YouTube journey, whether it's like when I'm having like 4 fight commentary brands or 1, thank you guys so much for watching. Sensei Ando, if you just search him up on YouTube or Google, whatever, you'll find everything. It's very easy. Sensei is spelled S-E-N-S-E-I.
Forget the Sensei, just Happy Life, Ando. There's not too many.
Happy Life Ando. That's even easier.
You
Happy Life Ando. Exactly. So yeah, guys, a follow-up to come. I would love to have that picnic. I'll bring some of the cool people that have been on Fight Commentary Breakdowns. So I'll sit down and talk. And there's so much I'm learning from Sensei Ando. I want to learn more from him. So we'll have a picnic soon.
I would love to be. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do a picnic. I'm in. I'll bake a pie. I'm ready.
Awesome.